Our next topic, guys, is going to be about Turok, a game in which I kind of grew up with, and really a game that I absolutely loved. I've always been into dinosaurs my entire life from a young age. They've always really intrigued me. Well, this was a game, guys, that first-person shooter, fighting dinosaurs and things of that nature, was really a game that evolved over time, and we were supposed to get, sequels and additions to the franchise, but at some point or another, whatever went wrong and what happened to Turok? So we're going to try to answer that question here today. And in an article that was written by Game Grin from Ethan Butterfield, it goes as follows. To go back to the start, Turok was a first-person shooter developed by Acclaim Studios Austin. The first game in the series, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, was released in 1997 and was received with enough critical praise to create a healthy fan base towards the franchise. Riding off the first game's wave of momentum, the sequel, Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, would be released in 98. It would go on to be another huge seller for the developers at Acclaim Studios Austin, resulting in a spike in fans and a spike in demand. Things started to get bumpy for the developers during the release of Turok Rage Wars in 99. The game would still garner positive reviews, but was deemed non-canon to the rest of the established story, and gameplay was considered lackluster in comparison to the first two games. Acclaim Austin took this loss to heart with the introduction of Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion in 2000. Upon release, Turok 3 hit the sweet spot and was loved by fans and critics alike. Some even going as far to say that it was a franchise best and that Turok had finally come into its own. This victory would be short-lived, however, with the eventual announcement of Turok Evolution. Evolution was not only the first game in the series to be released in a 2-year span, but was also the first to not be featured on Nintendo 64. It would instead find its home on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, which, guys, this was a game, back when I played Turok, I really feel that this was a game that reminded me, it kind of was a reminder of like Doom, something like Doom. Like I really feel like it could have taken the same path as Doom, and look at Doom now. I mean, you look at that franchise, and I know they brought it back with Doom 2016, but I feel that this is a franchise that could come back and could do really well in today's, those next gen consoles, and even on like PC. But it really reminded me of kind of Doom. It was kind of a reminder of similar concepts to Doom and even other games out there. But this was, I thought, was a good move to move it over to consoles, to multiple consoles like GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation 2. I think that was a really good move. I don't really think that that's where they went wrong. Reviews for Evolution were mixed, with common complaints directed towards a paper-thin plot and terrible enemy design. This was a blow for the franchise, having only found critical praise throughout most of its games, with the exception of Rage Wars. With this minor success, it would be another 6 years before a new Turok game would see the light of day. You can also see, guys, that Turok was a game that came out every other year, almost every year. It came out, there was a lot of these games that came out at a period of time, so they were obviously popular. With those 6 long years having finally passed, 2008 rolled around and it was time for a new Turok game with a brand new developer, Propaganda Games. With no titles under their belt, Turok was a must-sell for the team. Unfortunately for Propaganda, although the newest add-on was considered a success, to fans it was mediocre, a run-of-the-mill FPS that had been done before and done better. The reboot to the Turok franchise had made the mistake of incorporating all the cliches from modern shooters of the time. So, here's my thing, though. I actually loved the reboot of Turok. I thought it was so good. I was like, man, these are incredible graphics. I mean, the best graphics easily for a Turok game. I thought the story was good. I mean, there were things about it that were, not that great, but at the same time, that's how it is with any game. You're going to find flaws in any video game out there, and so it had its flaws, but I thought for what it was, I thought it was very well done, and I thought it was a great beginning to like the reboot of the Turok franchise. Although, as mentioned earlier, it still was enough of a success to warrant a sequel. The sequel, however, wouldn't see the light of day and would eventually be canceled. This would be the end of the franchise for nearly a decade and brings us to where we are today. Not a lot of news has followed since then. There was an HD remastered released by Night Dive Studios recently. However, in the months that followed, news of an up-and-coming System Shock 3 had more than fizzled out a lot of the flair from the HD remasters release. With this being the case, it seems that Turok has not been forgotten, but is in need of a brand new title to bring focus back towards the series. So I thought this was a great article, and I think it kind of sums up exactly what kind of partially what might have happened. Now, look, even though the rebooted Turok, I mean, you know, it sold well enough like to warrant a sequel, but it was canceled, and then there was like some concepts that were leaked that looked really cool. They were actually leaked like on YouTube, and I think that, you know, guys, Turok is a game and a franchise that really, in my opinion, deserves to coexist in gaming. It's very unique. Sure, there's games that are out there now that you can play that are, you know, have kind of similar, you know, feelings. Like you could be playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which got incredible reviews. And I played it myself, and I thought Horizon Zero Dawn was a fantastic game. However, robotic dinosaur-looking creatures is a lot different than actual dinosaurs. So it's not something that has been overdone. Like, there's not like a ton of dinosaur games. I mean, you could talk about Ark Evolved. You could talk about some of these other games that have different types of creatures in them. But Turok was very unique in a number of ways. I think it deserves to coexist in the gaming universe. Now, I would love to see a sequel. Let's try to make that thing happen, guys. Let me know what you guys think, though. Would you want to see a Turok sequel to the reboot that happened in 2008? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's have a real conversation about it.